4:31 a.m. today, Ukrainian troops conducted a series of coordinated strikes deep within Russian territory, including the destruction of Russia's $270 million Grad missile ship, marking a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict between the two nations. This is a breaking update, and the events that unfolded this morning illustrate the increasingly sophisticated nature of Ukrainian military operations. These recent actions show that Ukraine is not only defending its territory, but is also taking the fight directly to Russia, making it clear that Ukraine's military forces are capable of striking at the heart of Russia's war infrastructure with growing precision and success. One of the most high-profile operations took place this morning when Ukrainian Special Operations Forces successfully targeted Russia's GRD missile ship, a Project 21631 Buyan corvette. This ship stationed in Anger Lake in Russia's Republic of Karelia was struck as it was in transit from the Baltic Sea towards the Caspian Sea. The Ukrainian strike, which occurred at precisely 4:31 a.m., struck the right section of the ship's power plant compartment, causing significant damage to the vessel. The strike was part of a continued effort by Ukrainian forces to disrupt Russia's military capabilities, even within its own borders. The Grad missile ship is one of Russia's most advanced naval assets commissioned into the Russian Baltic Fleet just last December. It is equipped with the cutting-edge Kalibr missile system, one of the most formidable weapon systems in Russia's naval arsenal. Estimated at a value of $270 million, the loss of such an expensive warship underscores the financial as well as strategic blow to Russia's navy. The significance of this strike cannot be overstated, as it not only damages one of Russia's newest warships, but also sends a clear message about Ukraine's growing ability to disrupt Russian operations even on the high seas. While details of the extent of the damage are still being confirmed, the successful execution of this mission reflects the precision and increasing sophistication of Ukraine's military operations. In another operation carried out just this morning, Ukrainian special forces targeted a critical radar complex and a transport vehicle associated with Russia's Iskander missile system in the Kursk region, which borders Ukraine. This region, a frequent flashpoint in the conflict, has seen multiple Ukrainian special operations aimed at disrupting Russian missile systems and command infrastructure. The goal of these operations is clear: to prevent Russia from maintaining its military edge by neutralizing key components of its missile and communication systems. These asymmetric strikes show that Ukraine is not only focusing on the front lines, but is actively targeting Russian military installations deep behind enemy lines to weaken Russia's ability to sustain its war efforts. Meanwhile, Ukrainian air forces have escalated their involvement in the conflict, carrying out a series of precision airstrikes against Russian positions. Ukrainian Su-27 fighter jets have been particularly active in the air. This morning, they successfully destroyed a Russian ammunition depot which was located within an abandoned building being used by Russian infantry. This attack demonstrates the growing power of Ukrainian air forces, which are now able to strike high-value targets with precision and minimal risk to their own assets. These airstrikes, however, are not limited to mere military supply depots. In a separate operation this morning, Ukrainian Su-27s targeted and neutralized Russian communication officers at a command post. The GBU-62 bombs used in this strike caused severe disruption to Russian coordination efforts, further complicating Russia's ability to direct its military operations effectively. The ability to strike at the heart of Russian communication networks speaks to the sophistication of Ukrainian tactics, allowing Ukraine to maintain a level of unpredictability and agility that keeps Russian forces on the defensive. Additionally, Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jets known for their fourth-generation capabilities also played a significant role today. These jets carried out an air strike against a Russian battalion command post in the southern part of the front line using GBU-39 bombs. The MiG-29s were able to destroy the command post, further degrading Russian command structures in the region. The MiG-29's involvement in such high-precision operations highlights Ukraine's growing air superiority and its ability to execute complex multi-pronged attacks that strike at the core of Russian military operations. On the ground, Russia's offensive in Kapiansk has turned into a major battlefield failure. Despite over 22 months of effort, Russian forces have made little to no progress in capturing the strategically vital town of Kansk. This failure is especially significant given that Kupiansk is considered a key objective for Russia in the ongoing conflict. The town is located in a region where control is critical to securing supply routes and establishing dominance on the battlefield. However, the Russian forces under the command of Lieutenant General Serhiy Stonko have been met with relentless resistance from Ukrainian troops. Despite heavy losses, including the destruction of armored columns and military vehicles, Russia has been unable to make a breakthrough. In fact, near Sinova, Russian forces attempted to break through Ukrainian defenses, but were swiftly repelled by Ukrainian artillery and counterattacks. The area surrounding Sinir is now littered with the wreckage of Russian vehicles, with many tanks and trucks abandoned as a result of Ukrainian counterattacks. To the south of Kupiansk in the Pichin region, Russian forces tried to split Ukrainian defenses by advancing through a narrow corridor. However, this move has turned into a deadly trap for Russian infantry. Ukrainian forces have trapped Russian soldiers in a killing zone, where they are being systematically destroyed by artillery, drones, and ambushes from three sides. Despite repeated attempts to widen this corridor, Russian forces have been unable to secure any ground, and their losses continue to mount. The situation in Pishin has become a textbook example of how superior tactics, intelligence, and firepower can turn the tide of battle against a much larger opponent. Despite the ongoing efforts, Russian forces have made no significant gains. North of Kupiansk, Russia did manage to capture the town of Voricha after months of intense fighting. However, this victory has turned out to be a hollow one. The Russian forces, while holding the town, are unable to move forward due to the Osel River, which has effectively blocked any further movement of armored vehicles and troops. Ukrainian artillery continues to hold back Russian advances, and the situation has left Russian infantry trapped in a static position with no way to break free. The failure of Russia's Kansk offensive has raised growing doubts about the competence of Lieutenant General Serhiy Stozenko, who has been in command of the operation since the beginning. Stozenko, a former Ukrainian officer who defected to Russia during the 2014 Crimea crisis, has commanded several failed Russian operations, including the disastrous assault on IUM in 2022. Despite these setbacks, Stozenko was promoted to lieutenant general in 2023 and placed in charge of Russia's 6th Army. His track record in this role has been disastrous, leading some to speculate that Stozenko might be intentionally sabotaging Russia's efforts. There are whispers among Russian analysts that Stozenko could be Ukraine's best spy, deliberately leading Russian forces into futile and catastrophic battles. The mounting losses for Russia combined with the lack of progress in Kansk have put tremendous pressure on the Russian military. Ukraine meanwhile continues to push back Russian forces at every turn using a combination of artillery, airstrikes, drones, and special forces operations to maintain the upper hand. With Russian forces stuck in a strategic quagmire and their military leadership increasingly questioned, it is unclear how Russia will respond to these growing setbacks. The ongoing conflict is far from over, but today's developments provide a clear indication of changing momentum on the battlefield. Ukrainian forces continue to grow in strength and effectiveness, while Russia faces a series of humiliating defeats that have left its military stretched thin. The situation in Kansk and the broader conflict is far from resolved. But as of this morning, Ukraine's continued success in striking Russian targets has shown that the fight is far from over. If you want uncensored war updates the media won't show, subscribe now. If you want uncensored war updates the media won't show, subscribe now.